Just Got Diva. What's on my table today? We're gonna make a spring wreath using 2 types of 21-inch mesh, some florals, my Hello Spring sign, and here are my ribbons. Of course, I'm gonna need scissors, my rotary cutter, my cutters for my florals, my easy bow maker, and of course a wreath frame right here, and some pipe cleaners. Let's get started. All right, so I've got my 21-inch mesh, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go in about an inch, and I'm going to gather and I'm going to go right in between that bar, and I'm going to take a pipe, not a pipe cleaner, a zip tie, and I'm going to zip tie it down. And it's just a way to secure it to the frame. And as I said, I take my, I was going to take my, what am I trying to say? I'm losing my words, y'all. You're losing my words. Needle nose pliers to make sure it's tight, but we're just going to have to go with regular strength today. And I'm going to trim this edge. All right. And you won't be able to see this. So I'm doing 2 shades of pink to go with my frame. And so what you want to do is you want to fold the 2 ends in so that it doesn't fray. You're going to hold and you're going to make a bubble. So I'm going to go 10 inches using my mat. And see, that's your bubble. And I'm going to go, I'm going to do my mesh in a zigzag pattern. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to press it down, take my 2 ends of my pipe cleaners, and I'm going to twist twice. Again, fold under, gather. I'm going to go 10 inches. And now I'm going to go down to the bottom in the zigzag pattern. Press down into those 2 pipe cleaners. Twist once, twist twice. Again, gather. And what I'm doing is my hand is like a C. So I'm gathering, going to 10 inches. Stuff is falling. And I'm going up top, dropping the pipe cleaner, and twist that 2 or 3 times, missing cuff, 10 inches, and I'm going down to the bottom. I'm gonna press down into the pipe cleaner, twist tie once, twist tight twice. Then I'm gonna go 10 inches, and I'm going to the one up front. I'm gonna drop it down. 1, 2, and then 10 inches. And I'm going back to the, bottom one, because remember I didn't start here, but I'm back at the beginning. Stick it down in. 1, 2. And then what you do is you go in and you fluff. Just to make sure my bubbles are good and open. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of this, and I'm gonna take my scissors, and I'm going to trim that. And what you do is you take it, and I'm gonna push that in the bottom, and I'm gonna get another zip tie, and I'm gonna zip tie that to the frame. Zip tie. tie. And pull. And pull taut and trim. So that's the first set of bubbles. And I still have a little bit left. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that a little bit later, because we're going to use every bit of all of this mesh. So now I've gone from this iridescent pink to this pale pink. I'm going to stick this on my mesh roller, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick a different, I'm going to go up and start at a different bar, just so all of that is not together. Again, gather about 1 inch in. I lost my space already. All right, we're gonna start right here. I'm gonna stick that in at that bar. I'm gonna take a pipe cleaner. I'm gonna zip tie it to the frame. Moving my little bubble out the way. I'm gonna zip tie. Pull it taut. Trim the end. And again, so I'm going to see this open pipe cleaner right here. That's where I'm going. So I'm going to gather, fold under, like so. You just have to work with the mesh. Cup 10 inches, and I'm going across, I'm going down. Press down into that pipe cleaner. Pipe cleaner. Twist once, twist twice. And the next one will be this one. So down 10 inches, go across, open that pipe cleaner up. Zip 1, 2. All right. 10 inches. I'm going down and twist. And the bubble method is nice because if you're concerned about fraying, this minimizes the fraying. 10 inches, and I'm down, I'm going up. And zip tie, 1, 2, and you can make sure your bubbles are underneath. Using 10. Open your pipe cleaners, because I forgot. Drop down, twist, 1, 2, and then I'm coming up on the very last one. 10 inches. And that open one, drop, twist once, twice, and that is, and then again, go up about 1 inch. Struggling today. All right. And trim. And again, fold it under. Hold it under, and I'm gonna zip tie this down. Zip. There we go. All right. Zip, trim that in, and then what I do is I press the clipped end up into the frame so that you can't see it. All right, and now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open these bubbles up, open the poofs up rather, because this is again 21-inch mesh, 10-inch poofs in 2 colors. And so that's what we have so far. So next up, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the remaining pieces of 21-inch mesh. All right, I'm back. So I've got a little bit of mesh up, and I've got more kind of pink iridescent mesh. So what I'm going to do is I want to use all this mesh up. So I am going to cut this in 8-inch strips, or about 8 inches. All right. Using my rotary cutter. There's one. Let's see how many I can get out of here. I think I can get 3. Maybe. And try to make sure you keep it sort of straight. 4, 8. All right. And since that's not 8 inches, well, let's see. Is it 8 inches? Oh, see again. I've lost my needle nose pliers, y'all. Okay. That's 1. Let's see. There we go. I was able to do it without my needle nose pliers. Let's see how long this is. I might be able to use it. It is more than 8 inches. So we'll take it, because I literally need it to fold up like this. All right. Let me go ahead and cut up the rest of the pink iridescent in the same manner. And you'll need to trim so that it's sort of straight, because I want the ends to be straight. So let me make this a little straighter. There we go. And I'm gonna cut this in 8-inch strips. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I've got, I think, 9 or so pieces. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna let it roll up these 21-inch mesh, 8 inches. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it roll up on each other, because I want it roll, and then I'm gonna put it, and I want it to look like an awareness ribbon. See that? Like so. And I'm gonna take this. So this is, let me see, since y'all, I know y'all gonna want me to measure it. So let's see, it's 8. So you fold it in half. That's about 10 inches. And I'm at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches mark. I'm gonna pinch, and I'm gonna go in the inside first. And so I'm gonna put the bubble on the inside, and I'm gonna twist 1 twice, and I'm gonna leave the tails facing out. I'm gonna go to the next one, and again, I'm gonna roll it. Fold it in half. Go in about 5 inches. And I'm putting it in frayed side down on that inside. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Yes. Do I want it? I think I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to alternate it. 1, 2. I think I like that better. And then I'm going to take a piece of that pink, that plain pink, and I'm going to roll, fold it in, and I'm still on that inside pipe cleaner. Fold it down and twist once, twist twice. Oh, wait, wrong way. I'm doing opposite directions. Not paying attention. I'm gonna turn it around this way so that, and make sure it's frayed side down. 1, 2. And then I'm gonna take my other pink iridescent, fold 5 inches. I'm just eyeballing it. Inside, twist, and twist once, twist twice, moving that tails up. Another iridescent, and I may not use all of these pieces because I still have to do ribbon tails, but that's okay. It's not enough of the mesh left to make a difference. I will probably just trash it. This is gonna face out. Twist once, twist twice. And then the last, I'm gonna use the pale pink. Twist, twist, twist tightly. Let it roll up on each other. Fold like an awareness ribbon. 5 inches. Again, on the inside. And place it down in that pipe cleaner. Twist once, twist twice. And so that's what we have so far. And you'll notice that with that, you can't see the frame. And the frame is still relatively clean on the back. All right, next up, let's do some ribbon tails. All right, time to cut some ribbon tails. So I'm using 2 1.5 inch, a solid yellow, and I have a striped pastel. All of these colors I pulled out of my Hello Spring sign, and I'm gonna cut both ribbons at 12 inches. I'm gonna dovetail the ends because they're gonna go in my frame. So I'm gonna show you how I do that. So using my self-healing mat, and I'm gonna go 12 inches, and I'm using my rotary cutter. You can use your scissors. Just make sure your rotary color blade is sharp, and it should roll right through it. So 12 inches and 12 inches. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do to dovetail the ends. And you fold in half, and then you cut up at an angle on both ends. Fold, cut up at an angle, and you've got them dovetailed. So I'm gonna do 12 sets of these, and I'll be right back. All right, tails are cut. Now let's put them in. So I folded everything in half just for ease. I'm going to open it up, and at that halfway mark, I'm going to scrunch. And that's what it looks like. And I'm going to drop it into each of my 12 pipe cleaners. I'm not going to fluff yet, but I'm going to twist my pipe cleaners 3 or 4 times. And then I'm going to trim the ends using my cutters. And I'm going to fold that under. All right, again, go to the next twist tie. Find the end. I'm missing the other end. There we go. Unfold, pinch, drop inside that pipe cleaner, twist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Trim the excess off, fold down, and move on to the next tie. Open from the halfway mark, pinch, drop in pipe cleaner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Trim, and then fold that excess over. All right, I'm gonna put all the rest of them in, and I'll be right back. All right, I've done the bottom, and now what I'm doing is I'm separating the 2 tails for full coverage, and I'm making an X. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just pulling the tails apart and kind of tucking them under. I'll continue to fluff as I go. All right. And this is wired ribbon, so you can position it how you need to. So this is, all right, almost done. Last set of tails, spread out, and that is what it looks like so far. And if you see ends that are like frayed, you just trim them. So this is what we look like so far. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add our sign. And so you'll see we've got, it already has holes. And so I could connect this using floral wire. I could connect this using Bodabra wire. I'm gonna use pipe cleaners because it's easier for me to use. And then I'm not worried about the holes because I'm gonna do 2 small bows to cover this. And so because I need it to be longer than normal, I just take 2 pipe cleaners, fold them in the end, and then I twist, twist, twist to connect them. Now, or you can get 20-inch pipe cleaners, but if you don't have 20-inch pipe cleaners, you use what you got. Again, 2, and fold that, twist until you get to the ends, and then I'm gonna slide this pipe cleaners down through to the middle. I'm gonna fold. I'm gonna twist really, really tight. Okay. That's one end. And stick that through that hole. And fold. And twist. I'm gonna spin this 2 or 3 times, make sure it's tight. All right. And what I'm doing is I'm gonna make sure that I can connect it down through to the bar. So I'm gonna slide this down through. All right, and then I'm gonna switch this down through, pull. And then I'm gonna twist and I'm gonna do the same thing. Down through, and I'm gonna connect to the bottom. And this way, I'm gonna show you what it looks like on the back as soon as I get it down through there. All right, so see, I wanted it at the bar. Okay, I need to stick this over here. If I can, there we go. All right. And I'm gonna twist 2 or 3 times. So I'm making sure that's right at the bar. And I just like to do it the opposite end, just to secure it. And I'm gonna twist 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then this excess I'm gonna cut off, and then I'm gonna fold that down in. Same thing on this side. Gonna pull that over. I'm gonna push that in, pull it up. And I'm gonna twist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Trim and fold that under. All right. And now the sign is on. And I'm gonna pull the tails out. All right, and that's what we have so far. And so next up, we're gonna make a couple of small bows so that we can attach them. Where's that other yellow? Yeah, yellow tail. Just when you do that, you make sure you pull your ribbon tails out from under the sign. So this is what we have so far. And everything is secure. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do florals next because we may not need a bow, but let's check. All right, next up, we're gonna add some florals, and I've got kind of some, I think these are marigolds. I've got some petunias. I've got lavender flowers, some cherry blossoms, and then I just call these like dandelions. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my the greenery up. Anytime that happens, guess what? You just put it back on, slide it down, and then stick that back on. If you want to use some hot glue, you can, to make sure that doesn't happen. So what I'm doing is I'm trimming the ends off. All right. So those are there. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my lavender. And I like to keep the greenery just in case. There we go. And then I'm going to pull my cherry blossoms. And there's not going to be any like rhyme or reason for these. I'm just going to stick them in because I want it to look like sort of a bouquet. And if these are different flowers, y'all tell me in the comments that what this is. But I'm assuming it's a marigold. All right. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick these in to just into the spaces. And I'm leaving them sort of long so that I can bend them. But some I'm gonna trim off depending on my placement. So I'm gonna get a little bit of glue. And that's how much glue I'm going to use. And I'm going to stick it into the mesh. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use some glue. And I'm going to stick that there and see if I can get it placed correctly. I may not need a bow because see how that flower is going to cover that hole up? And sometimes you do flowers in sets of 3. An odd number is better than the even sometimes. Depends on how you go. And what I'm doing is I'm sticking it down into the mesh. And so I've got 1, 2, 3. I have 4 more pieces. So I'll put these 4 on the bottom. Kind of opposite. All right. Stick that down in there. And again, I'm going to fluff those ribbons as I go. I'm going to use this one. And grab that hot glue and stick that down in the mesh. And I'm going to stick this piece. I got 2 pieces. Like I said, it doesn't, I'm probably going to put this piece right here. And I don't need that much. So I'm going to trim that off. And I'm going to slide that right there. And then I have 1 more piece left. I think I'm going to just stick it up top. And actually, I may leave it a little longer. Yeah, I'm going to leave it long. All right. And stick that right there. And that's what we have so far. All right, next up, I'm going to take the petunias. And again, Be careful. Actually, I think I might just put a tinge of hot glue, just a little bit, and slide that on and give it a chance to dry. All right. And I'm just gonna sit these kind of in between. I'm gonna stick them in between the marigolds. And I'm just sticking it in the mesh. All right. And all right. Slide that down in that mesh. All right. All right. And stick that down. In that mesh. All right. Just moving. Just making sure I got my tails out. That's what I'm looking for. I was looking for the other tail. All right. Excuse my neighbor making all that noise. All right, and stick that petunia there. I'm gonna stick petunia here. All right. What do you think about using florals as picks? Petunia there. And then I've got one more. Since one's here, I'm gonna put one over here. All right. And I'm gonna stick that right in there. And then next, I think I'm gonna use my lavender. And these are obviously too long, so I'm gonna stick, I only have 3 of these. So I'm gonna stick these, making sure I got enough glue. I'm gonna do it in like a triangle. So this one, there's one. I'm gonna put the other right here. All right. Let's stick this one right here. And then the other one needs to go up top. But I have so many flowers up here already. I think what I may do is I may take this petunia out and move it somewhere else, which I am totally within my purview to do. So let me see if I can get it to come out. Look at there. It popped right out. Awesome. All right. And I'm going to leave that stem just a little longer. I'm going to sit it right there. So I'm going to get a little bit of glue. And so I'm going to stick that right on in, right there. Okay. And then last up, I'm going to have, I've got my three, well, not last up. I've got 3 pink ones. And I think I'm gonna do something like this. I'm making that same triangle. I'm just trying to show you placement. I'm gonna stick one there. I think I'm gonna put one here. And then, oh, I got 4 pieces, so that's even better. I'm gonna do one right there. And then I'm gonna put this one right here under the bottom, okay? That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna, all right. All right, grabbing some glue from my glue skillet. And then I'm gonna sit that right in there. I'm just pushing it in so it doesn't stick out so much. All right. Whoops, see? The beauty of using a glue skillet. Notice I got glue on my hands, but it did not burn me. So that is the beauty of a glue skillet. So, dropping that right there. See, if I had been using a glue gun, that would have been a 2nd-degree burn. But no. All right. A little bit of glue. Stick that right there. Then, last one. All right. And trying to make sure my glue stays where I am while I'm trying to figure out where to place it. Stick that right there. Still moving tails. And then I've got 3 of these. I wish I had more of these. Ah, look at there. I think I'm going to use both of these, and that way I'll have 6 of my little dandelions. And so I'm going to trim these. And do the same thing for the blue ones. All right. And just trying to figure out placement. I may put one there. Stick one over there. Just trying to put it in spaces. And I'll stick one like right there, I think. All right. Nearly there. And I won't need a bow because everything will be covered. So it's giving very floral vibes. All right. That right there. stick that right there. And then I will stick these. The yellow ones will go on the outer ends. That one goes right there. I'm gonna put one right here and one up top. All right, that one right there, and then I'm gonna put one at the top. And then I have a surprise, just a little one. All right, stick that right there. And then I have these teeny tiny bees. How cute is that? So I gotta decide where I want to stick my bees. I think I want to put one there, and then I'll put one over here. I think that'll be cute. Or do I want it here? I want to put it there. All right. There's one. And there's two. All right. So now all I gotta do is kind of fluff these tails out. And once I get them all fluffed out, I will show you what the final look looks like. Like and share.